Good evening, wrestling fans. Jimmy Gimmick here for Empire Wrestling Alliance. We're in beautiful Elkin, North Carolina, the capital city of independent professional wrestling in the South. Tonight, the Carolina Bad Boy Chappell, the EWA World Heavyweight Champion, puts the title on the line against Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman, and his maniacal manager, the Radical. And the referee this evening, Stormin' Roy Myers. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back, wrestling fans. As we await the arrival of Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman, let's take a look at what happened last night on EWA. Wait a minute, Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman, he's attacking Major Havoc from behind, my goodness. And there's the Radical, Shamus's maniacal manager. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, this is totally uncalled for here. Let's hear what the Radical has to say. Wait a minute, somebody's coming out there with a chair. It's the Carolina Bad Boy Chappell. Knocked Shamus out cold, and he's after Radical now with that chair. Radical running out of room to hide. Looks like he's going to get caught here. Chappell swings the chair, but he misses. Radical under the chair, and he's chasing the Radical all over the arena. The crowd going crazy here. Wait a minute, Shamus is back. All right, he's defending Radical here, squaring off with Chappell. Shamus back on the clock here after Chappell cleaned his with that chair. My goodness, if Chappell hadn't intervened, who knows what might have happened here. Major Havoc rushed to Elkin Memorial Hospital where he spent the night, and earlier today transported to Baptist. Major Havoc still in critical condition after that totally uncalled for attack. Shamus came back with a challenge to the Carolina Bad Boy Chappell. Let's take a look.
Hello, Chappell. Looks like it's going to be me and you in the main event, punk. You think for 1 minute that your reputation scares me? I know you got talent, I know you got strength, and I know you got tenacity. Sorry, Chappell. You must have missed the fire. I'm Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman, and I ain't afraid of nothing. Let's see what you got. Give it your best shot. Sorry, Chappell.
So the stage is set. It looks like we're getting ready to get underway here. Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman, with the Radical. Here they come. Shamus and the Radical always generating quite an emotional response from the crowd. And it looks like tonight's no different here in Elkin, North Carolina. The keys to victory here for Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman, utilizes underhanded tactics. Let's face it, that's what he and the Radical do the best. Once the champ gets going, he can't be stopped. Shamus has got to break Chappell's momentum. Avoid Chappell's explosive finishing moves. Chappell's been known to put a sudden end to many a wrestling match. And finally, keep on the pressure. Shamus can win this match by not letting Chappell do what Chappell does best. And Shamus still antagonizing the crowd.
That's right. Take a good look, buddy. Hey, get out of here. Get the pastor bent up anyway, you little twerp.
And Shamus and the Radical climbing into the ring here, waiting for the arrival of the EWA World Heavyweight Champion, the Carolina Bad Boy Chappell. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the EWA World Heavyweight Champion, the Carolina Bad Boy Chappell. Corey Chappell, what a champion, perhaps the most celebrated World Heavyweight Champion in the history of the EWA. And the keys to victory today for Chappell: avoid the Radical's interference. Sure, we're going to see a lot of shenanigans today out of the Radical. Avoid brawling with Shamus. There's nobody tougher than the brawler from Belfast. He's one tough Irishman, outwit and outlast. Take all the punishment Shamus can give him, and then finish him off with one of those explosive Chappell signature finishes. Chappell's entrance music, Devil Is Me by Grand Society. And it looks like Chappell's going to head to the ring, and Shamus and the Radical going to hightail it out of here. And giving us just a moment here to look at the tail of the tape. Shamus, a couple inches height advantage and a little bit of weight advantage, but Chappell definitely has the advantage of youth on his side. And as far as the comparative styles here, Chappell, a technician. Shamus will be trying to turn it into a brawl. Chappell a little advantage on strength. Shamus a slight advantage with experience. Perhaps Chappell the better condition of the two, but Shamus known for his ability to take punishment. And Chappell showing a little respect here to his well-earned World Heavyweight title. As Shamus continues to draw a heckling from this crowd here at Elkin. And Roy Myers is going to check him over for foreign objects here. Better check him twice. And now Myers trying to clear the ring of the Radical. Get him on out of here, Myers seems to be saying. And now it looks like we're about ready to get underway here. Here comes the bell. Shamus here having another word with that same section. That lady doesn't look like his #1 fan. And now it looks like the two gladiators are finally circling. Wait a minute, Shamus going to see what kind of crowd support he has here. Complaining to the Radical. What's wrong with these people, he seems to be saying. And wait a minute now, here comes Chappell. Chappell up, showing clearly that this is his house tonight. Shamus should have known Chappell's fought wars in this arena. And it looks like we're in for another one of those tonight. Shamus finally had enough. He moves in. It looks like they're going to lock up, and it's Shamus with a big arm drag. Shamus celebrating here, but taking a step back now, seeing the look on Chappell's face. Shamus doing a little showboating here now as they begin to circle again. Both of these grapplers know what a dangerous opponent they have tonight. They don't have to like each other to respect each other. And it looks like they're going to lock up. And now it's Chappell with a big arm drag, sending Shamus crashing to the canvas. Shamus retreating to the corner, trying to break Chappell's momentum. Maybe he can regroup here and come up with some sort of strategy. Shamus holding his shoulder here. Shamus is a consummate strategist, trying to buy time here to break Chappell's momentum. Now he's trying to complain to Myers, but he doesn't have much to complain about. So he looks back to the crowd. Some more antagonizing. And it looks like he's disgusted with the crowd, so he's going to turn back to Chappell. Here they go again, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like they've locked up here. Here comes Shamus with a big hip toss. His strategy's working so far. And the look on Chappell's face was one of disgust. And now he's going back to the crowd. Take a look right here. You know you love it, he seems to be saying. Chappell doesn't seem to be distracted by Shamus and his shenanigans. He's not going to get too many more like that on Chappell. And they're going to lock up again here. And here comes Chappell with a big hip toss. Right back at you, Shamus, Chappell seems to be saying. And now Shamus complaining to Roy Myers. Once again trying to break that momentum. Trying to keep Chappell from getting on a roll here. But I think once again his strategy served its purpose. Now Shamus tells Chappell to come on. And now it looks like they're going to lock up again. But it's Shamus with a big fireman's carry. Once again, a surprise maneuver. But now it's Chappell with a big arm drag. Shamus goes crashing to the canvas, followed up by a big hip toss. Now Chappell with a big fireman's carry. And Shamus is going to get out of the ring into the waiting arms of his manager, the Radical. The crowd goes crazy here in Elkin, North Carolina. And Shamus gets back in the ring here before he's counted out by Roy Myers. And it looks like they're going to lock up again. This time it's Chappell scooping Shamus up for a big body slam here. And now he grabs Shamus, manhandles him here, and a big double axe handle to Shamus' face here. And he covers him up 1-2, but Shamus is up. Myers was a little slow on that count. But here's Shamus clawing at Chappell's face, totally uncalled for here. There's some of those underhanded tactics. And now Shamus with an Irish whip. But Chappell reverses. Shamus flipping over the corner turnbuckle. And he runs down the mat line. Up on the opposite turnbuckle. And a big right hand smashing into the Carolina bad boy Chappell. The tides have turned for Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman. Let's see if he keeps on the pressure. And here he follows up with a big elbow drop. Smashing into Chappell. Chappell could be in trouble here. And now Shamus back to antagonizing that crowd. You know you love it, he seems to be saying. And now he's going back to Chappell here. He's going to drag Chappell to his feet. What's he going to do here? And he pushes Chappell in that corner. And an Irish whip across the ring here. And here comes Shamus. Looks like an Irish jackknife. He's up. flipping Chappell to the middle of the ring, and now here comes Shamus with a big clothesline, flipping Chappell completely, and without a doubt, Chappell could be in trouble here as Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman, the brawler from Belfast, moves in for the kill. And now he ties in a tight arm lock, putting the pressure on Chappell's shoulder. Roy Myers checks for a submission. Chappell's not giving up yet here. And he's dragging Chappell to his feet here, and it looks like he's going to lay Chappell over on the ropes. And as he distracts Roy Myers, it's the Radical choking and punching at Chappell here. Crowd's going crazy. Radical continuing to beat and punch on the champion. Myers still distracted by Shamus. Can't see any of it. Radical here, more punches, more punishment. Finally coming to an end here, and Myers missed all of it. Those are exactly the kind of underhanded tactics that we were talking about. And now here comes Shamus with a big knee across that rope, choking Chappell on that rope. And now here comes the Radical again, choking Chappell on that rope. Somebody needs to stop this. Shamus completely distracting Roy Myers. If Chappell's going to win this match, he's going to have to do something to neutralize Shamus and the Radical's underhanded tactics. And Shamus showboating here as he throws Chappell outside of the ropes. And Shamus here turning straight back to Roy Myers. And here comes the Radical again, punching and punishing the champion. The Carolina bad boy Chappell clearly in trouble here. And a parting shot from the Radical as Chappell tries to take a breather here outside of the ring. And Roy Myers begins a count. Chappell knew he was going to have to contend with some underhanded tactics, but so far this has been ridiculous. Roy Myers begins a count on Chappell. Chappell here trying to make his way back to the ring, and he climbs up to the ring ropes. Who knows what's keeping Chappell going at this point? And here comes Shamus. And it's Chappell with a big right hand to Shamus' midsection, and Chappell's up with a sunset flip. Shamus is down. Roy Myers moves in for the count. 1-2, and Shamus kicks out. Barely, almost had him with that one. That was really, really close. But Shamus back to the attack here, and it looks like a big headbutt. Shamus smashing his forehead into the head of the Carolina bad boy Chappell. Shamus continuing with the attack. And here goes Shamus with a big leg drop. How much punishment can one man take? Now Shamus rolls Chappell back over to the edge of the ring. And again distracts Myers. And here goes the Radical. More underhanded tactics and shenanigans from the Radical. This could be it for Chappell. Now Radical choking the champion. Shamus in celebration mode here. He needs to keep on the pressure. Both of these men have taken a lot of punishment here. But it's Chappell back to his feet. Come on, he seems to be saying. He's challenging Shamus to a rumble, and Shamus with a big right hand. Chappell back with a big right hand. This has turned into a complete slobber knocker. Can the Carolina bad boy Chappell handle Shamus in a complete and total all-out brawl? And now Chappell sends Shamus reeling with a big right hand, and Shamus takes a couple of steps and falls flat on his back, and it's Chappell with a big right hand followed it up. Shamus turned it into a brawl, and Chappell rose to the occasion. 2 count by Myers, but Shamus is still up. What is keeping both of these men going? Now it's Shamus with another cheap tactic, rake to the eyes here. And he pushes Chappell over into that corner here. And an Irish whip sends the champion across the ring. And here comes Shamus with a big clothesline here, sending Chappell crashing to the canvas. And it looks like it's almost over here for the champion. If I know Shamus, he's going to move in here for the finisher. And he calls in the Radical. And here comes the Radical where he doesn't belong, holding Chappell still. And here comes Shamus, distracting Myers. And now a cheap shot. Misses Chappell, hits the Radical, and Chappell rolls up Shamus. Myers in for the count. 1, 2, 3. It's over. The Carolina bad boy Chappell has defeated Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman. The crowd couldn't be more pleased as Shamus can't quite believe what happened here, and neither can the Radical. Chappell has successfully defended his title against Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman. Shamus still can't believe it, but this one's over. Let's take a look at the instant replay. And here's the finisher. Shamus distracting Myers again. This time the Radical holding Chappell from behind. And here goes Shamus throwing that big right hand. Chappell ducks it, smashing into the Radical. Radical crashing into the floor here. Chappell rolling Shamus up in the old schoolboy. 1, 2, 3. Myers counts it, and Chappell has defended his title against Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman. and the crowd couldn't be more pleased. And so this one's over, ladies and gentlemen. Chappell has defeated Shamus Maloney, the Irish Hitman. And it looks like the Radical's up here trying to argue here with Roy Myers. And Myers knocks him right out of the ring. Looks like he's had enough of Shamus and the Radical. The crowd couldn't be more pleased here, happy with the outcome. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on the EWA Empire Wrestling Alliance. This is Jimmy Gibbett, signing off.